Hola amigos, this is Level 12 and today we are going to be talking about Hetalia characters as horror movie villains. Now I watch a lot of horror movies and the villains in those movies are very diverse in gender and why they're the villain and other intelligence and motive and all of these things, and there are also many horror movies, so this list I messed with it a lot, I tweaked it a lot. There was a lot that went on with this list, but I really hope you enjoy, and I hope you find some good horror movie recommendations out of this movie. So the first one is Russia and Angela Baker. Now, originally I had it as Russia and Jigsaw from the actual movie Saw, but then I thought that he fit better with Angela Baker. Originally, I was going to do it, the person had to be the same gender, but that rule went out the window. So, if you don't know who Angela Baker is, she's from the 80s, 70s, 80s movies of Camp Sleepaway and then a couple sequels. She was bullied, had a horrible childhood. She was bullied in her teenhood, and she eventually ended up just killing everyone in the sleepaway camp. That's her thing. That's what she does. And Russia was also bullied in his childhood, and also kind of hurts his minions and abuses them, and hasn't killed anyone that I know of, but is on the verge of doing that. And I just felt they were very similar because they both had horrible childhoods, and they were both horribly messed up from it, and they were both kind of insane. And that's the only reason. So, Russia, Angela Baker, They just fit. And I will say, the Sleepaway Camp movies aren't the best because the production quality isn't the best, but we're fine. A lot of these are kind of older villains, I've realized, but it's fine. So next we have Spain and Freddy Krueger, and Freddy Krueger is from the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Freddy Krueger, I've seen parts of the actual first Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen more of the sequels than the first one, but Freddy Krueger, he kidnapped children on Elm Street and killed them, and, that thing, and they burned him in a furnace, and now he haunts people's dreams. Spain sleeps a lot, so he would also be very likely to haunt people's dreams. Also, Spain has this weird obsession with children. We won't get into that. But, Spain does sleep a lot, and I feel like because he sleeps a lot and takes a lot of siestas, he'd be the one to sneak into people's dreams and kill them, which I believe this film did spark the myth that if you die in a dream, you die in real life. That myth was debunked. So, if you die in a dream, you don't die in real life. I don't think you do anyways. Next we have Molossia and Chucky. Out of all of the villains and movies on this list, Chucky is actually the movie, or Child's Play, I guess I have to say, the actual movie title and not just the villain. I actually dislike Child's Play the most. I've seen almost all of the movies, and even the original two aren't that great. I mean, in my opinion, they aren't that great. I've talked to other people and they're horrified of the movie and they think it's great, but I've seen better, like the Conjuring movies. So, Chucky is this little ball of rage. He's one of the few horror movie villains that actually isn't very bright. He's just very angry and very persistent to get what he wants. And Molossia is also very angry, and because they're both very angry people, I thought it would work very well, because you don't see that many horror movie villains that are full of nothing but rage. A lot of horror movie villains, because they're villains, in my opinion, they have to be somewhat calculating. They can't just be the dumb oaf. That's why the dumb oafs are usually the minions. And Chucky is this little ball of rage that gets what he wants. Molossia, little ball of rage, possibly gets what he wants. Next is Belarus and the Orphan, who I actually don't know her name because it's like a Russian, Ukrainian, Estonian kind of name. I forget where she's from. Also, some spoilers for this movie. Just FYI spoilers. Belarus is a yandere, and so is the Orphan. Now, the Orphan looks about 8 to 10, I guess. I wouldn't put her above 10. She looks very young, right? She's actually in her 30s, and the plot of the movie is the family adopts her, and she tries to kill everyone and marries the father. That's what she wants. That's her goal, anyways. And, she doesn't really get that, but she is a yandere, and Belarus is also a yandere, and, two yanderes, we gotta put them together, Also, the Orphan goes after someone who isn't really attainable. Even if she did kill the family, the father would never fall for her. And then Belarus is also chasing after someone who is unattainable, no matter if they were the last two people on Earth. Russia just don't want that. Belarus, you got Lithuania. He's a catch. Just go with him. It'll work. Next is Estonia and Hannibal Lecter from the original Silent of the Land movies. I cannot with these remakes. There's a TV show coming out, and I can't with these remakes. But Estonia and Hannibal Lecter. Now, Hannibal Lecter is very smart, and is also a cannibal. Estonia isn't a cannibal, but Estonia is very smart, and because of their intelligence, it's very frightening. A very smart person being the villain is very frightening, in my opinion, because intelligence can take you a long way. However, psychopathy, like no empathy, that's where you stop. And I think Estonia would be a lot scarier because he is smart, and I do feel he has a lot of empathy, and just their intelligence together would be horrifying. Don't want to live with that. Really don't want to deal with that. But anyway, so we have all of that. It's great. Next is America and Leatherface, and the only reason I did this is because Hema drew America multiple times with a chainsaw, just running around with a chainsaw, and that's Leatherface's main shtick. Other than that, he wears other people's skins. Plot of the movie. There's been a lot of remakes of Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw Massacres as well. I believe the original came out in 1978, and that version is super hard to find. Netflix has about 3 different versions, including like a documentary on the actual like murders of what the guy did. He killed like his mom and a couple neighbors. It's not as big as the movie makes it out to be, but Leatherface is very he's kind of dumb. I think he's mentally challenged, and he just runs around killing people with a chainsaw for his family and puts on their skin. America is very loud, very annoying, and I feel like if he went off his rocker, he'd go after people with a chainsaw. More specifically, probably Canada, just by accident, and then England, and, just tearing through Europe. Next, we have Romania and Pennywise, and this is our last one on the list. So, Romania is a trickster. In my opinion, he's a trickster. He's very mischievous. He's very, like, those fortune teller kind of people. And Pennywise, I couldn't decide which version of Pennywise fit Romania better, because in both respects, they're tricksters, they're clowns. The main way they, like, get their victim is by tricking them to come over and to entice them. They're both like that, except the original Pennywise is a little bit more blunt. He's a little bit less careful when doing that, versus the newer Penny, and the older Pennywise was more bold versus the newer Pennywise, who chooses more to stay in the shadows and more to trick and mess with people a little bit more than the older Pennywise. The newer Pennywise also, I feel like, it was displayed more that he was a trickster, with showing all of the kids that he used to, like, eat and kill and all of that. It's a very weird dynamic, and I couldn't decide who I liked more. So I just put both of them because they're both, they're both technically Pennywise, but they both have really different personalities, and they're both kind of a mix of what I think would be great for Romania. But yeah, so that was the last one. I did have on my list, Ghostface from the Scream movies as Turkey, because they both wore a mask. I had Kogomogel as Damien, because Damien's from The Omen, and he's like possessed by Satan or whatever, or he's Satan's kid. Kogomogel just has that kind of rage and silent stewing. And finally, I had Vietnam as the girl from the Grudge movies. The one that goes, that one. I think I just picked it because I wanted Vietnam or the Grudge girl on this list. I just, wrote down a bunch of horror movie villains I could remember off the top of my head, and, we're good now. Anyway, so, thanks. I hope you like this list. Put your recommendations in the comments. Who do you think would fit a villain, or if you saw any horror movies on this list that you like, or any other recommendations, just put them in the list. I'm always looking for more movies to watch. But I will tell you, I've seen a lot of horror movies, and I've seen basically everything Netflix has to offer. So, give me more movies. I need more to watch. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more anime and otaku related content. Ciao, chicos.